All right, it's another lovely time out on the podcast Truth to Power, the program where we look at the plight of persecuted communities, individuals, and minority groups in Nigeria. And the aim of the program is basically to bring to the fore all of these issues that is leading to persecution. My name is Ehis Agbon, and Truth to Power. Today, we will be exploring the persecution of media persons, media personalities, and of course, journalists. If you recall, within the past weeks, there has been issues of journalists being persecuted by government actors and key players. And today, we will be having with us in the studio a guest that recently was involved in some issues that by every estimation you can call it persecution. I also have another media personality on the program today too. He is not new on the program. He's been here severally, but today he's also adding his voice to this discussion this morning. I would want to also appreciate the guys at Truth Nigeria, because this program is supported by Truth Nigeria for the great and wonderful things that they are doing and how they are helping to help the world discover the truth about Nigeria. My name, like I said before, is Adon, and on the program today, I have with me Mike Ode Akatu. He is not new on the program. He's been on the program before. Mike, you are welcome to the program.
Hey, Ross, thanks a lot. Viewers, listeners, welcome.
Yes, he's a conflict reporter. He reports for Truth Nigeria. I also have with me a gentleman by the name of Gabriel Idibia. He is a journalist, and recently he did some stories that some government key players did not feel quite comfortable with it, and based on that, I would say, orchestrated his arrest, and presently the case is in the court. Because we want to avoid anything that would have to do with prejudice, we will avoid those key aspects of the case that is in court, but we'll talk the story the way it is. Now, Mr. Idibia did a report on the Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board, which some people, the executive secretary was involved in it, and some other key players felt that it wasn't quite right for him to do that. Now, this report, I would say, was a well-rounded journalistic work, because even there were references and attempts to even get exposition to it, which you, in the course of the program, we hear all of this reaction. Well, since Mr. Idibia is with us in the studio, we'll just go straight to him. And Mr. Idibia, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hinsebo, for dragging me here.
Indeed, I really dragged him here. And now, tell us about this particular story that you did that resulted in all of this.
Like you rightly understand, it's a normal journalistic work. Every journalist is always interested in issues that borders on serious news items, and as to where I came across story after series of my penetration to the Mando Pilgrims Welfare Agency.
Okay, before you go on, now the Mando Pilgrim Welfare Camp is in Kaduna State. Mando is in Kaduna State. Is it Igabi local government or?
Igabi local government.
Okay, well, that's Igabi County in Kaduna State, North Central or Northwest Nigeria. All right, please go on. I just wanted to clarify in case for the benefit of those that are not familiar with Kaduna and Nigeria.
So, like every other investigative journalist, I saw certain things that were not actually in order according to the dictates of those who have been performing the Hajj, and I decided to pick on some of them. In the process, I tried to find out from one or two of those who were performing the 2023 Muslim pilgrims, and some of them gave me a lot of information behind seen, and they gave me their confidence. That is what they have seen in the process. Some of them also provided me with evidences of videos and interviews granted by His Eminence, the Royal Highness, the Emir of Zamzam, who incidentally was the Amir of Hajj 2023, where he spoke extensively to a foreign media, particularly VOA, concerning the failure of the entire Hajj exercise of 2023. And in view of those, when I decided to bring the 2 or 3 together, there is one more that I have not been able to even work on it. There were 3. The video evidence of where some of the people who were waiting for the flight were loitering within the crowded space, waiting for flights, men and women. You could see clearly that it was a night setting. Some of them have already gone asleep. Some were, battling how to go to sleep on the bed, lying down, men and women. I saw that one. They also provided me with some of this, gave me an insight on how to get the Amiro Hajj interview reviews, which I also obtained it. And one other person, I cannot remember his name, who is like assistant or a kind of subordinate to him, who was also granted interview and spoke extensively about the poor organization of the pilgrims. And I put the 3 stories together. I released the first one, then the second one. Before I could release the third one, there was war against me. So I found it very unstable to sit down and work on the third one. And I'm sure that they saw that if they give me the opportunity, I would roll out the third one. That was why there was pressure on me. And I saw myself being chased using police. Unfortunately, police that is not the usual police, because I was just at home. One morning after brushing my mouth, I received a strange call that your attention is needed in the so place. Where? They say Operation Yaki police station. I say Operation Yaki, because we do know that Operation Yaki that was created by Nnamdi Sambo's administration was mainly to be on the highway and looking out for contain crimes, and especially the growing instance of banditries that were kidnapping people on
they are not the police.
A specialized police team.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of like the SWAT.
SWAT, like the other code names of. So I said, okay, well, as a security agency, I cannot afford not to say I will come. But give me some little time. I was attending a program at House of Justice, and I was to make a presentation. And they obliged me. So immediately after their program, I have to take permission not to stay till end. And I rushed to the police Operation Yaki station along Constitution Road. I made myself available to them. They briefed me that there was a report against me by so people. I said, yes, it's not a report. I did a news report. I'm aware of it. They showed me my report. I said, it was me. It was my news story. So then the man said that I was trying to intimidate him. I said, how? The story is there. Where in the story, the body of the story was I trying to intimidate? He said, well, the man said I was trying to intimidate him. I said, how? Did he show you any evidence of intimidation? He said I should write my statement. I had no choice. I opted to call for my lawyer before I write any statement or commit anything to writing. But they were not happy with that development because time was actually running out around that time, 4:30. So at the end of the day, I had to write my statement. The next thing, they say I'm going to detain. I say for what? They say because the man said I intimidated him. I said, but I only put a call to this man. He didn't pick. I now sent text extensively to his WhatsApp. And all of a sudden, he replied in the same manner with some paragraphs of text in responding to my request. And I still asked, Are you confirming what I've said? That he did not reply again. So I pack whatever reply he gave. I use it to balance
The story.
report accordingly. And that was what I told them. They say, on the basis of that, I'll be detained. No problem. I cannot run away from the security. I'm available. They detained me. At the end of the day, they asked me to depossess me of all my properties, my shoes, and the rest of them, and asked me to go behind the counter. And I went behind the counter. I was there till around that kind 9:30 to 10 before the IPO or the one the IPO came back and said, at least I should go out and go. I said, no, I'm not leaving this place this night. Are you going to kill me? You asked me, people have been coming, begging you to release me to come tomorrow. You say, no. You now put me in detention, you left. After 1 hour, you came back and said, I should go. I'm not going anywhere because I can't go to my house this night. He said, you assist me. Drop me on the way. He now brought my colleagues who came and signed for my bail initially to come and sign for my on bail. And the guy came up and said that I should go and follow him, drop him off. That was how I left the police station that night to my house. And then I think that was how the first detention came about and ended. So they asked me to be coming from home. I came back at 1 morning. They said, no, I should be coming when I have time. That it's not something I should come in every day. I should come in at my own pace. So at that time, I started going maybe sometimes once in a week or 3 times a week. Suddenly, we pick a lawyer. I cannot be going to police every morning as if I'm a common criminal.
Yeah.
I did my report and I balanced my report, so I don't see why they should be calling me to come there every morning and show appearance when I'm supposed to be going to do my work, of course. So at the end of the day, we went there with the lawyer once or twice. We met the OC on seat. The IPO will tell us that the OC has already left. He waited for us, and when he couldn't see us, he left. So, okay, fine. We reschedule it, and couldn't meet. On the day we met, we were just approaching the OC. Incidentally, OC was sitting down with IPO, and then he was sitting down with DCO. Twice, yes. Twice he was not wearing his cloth because they were under the shade. Former playing of cards. We're standing, greeted them, waiting that they will stand up so that we can go in and commence the official discussion that we have been invited to come for settlement. There and then, twice, I say, hey, Mr. Idibia. I said, sir, while he was talking, I was trying to wind my phone, put it in the pocket. They also now shouted, they are talking to you and you are browsing. I said, no, sir. I was waiting that we are going inside from here to commence official. I didn't know that we were going to discuss here. I waited when I came on. Say, no, I was talking. I said, no, I pocketed it. One of my colleagues who accompanied me there went to him and pleaded that he should forgive me for that if I'm browsing. I think that was, at that point, the OC now told twice that if he were the one, he would have detained me. And the IPO, after being the twice, he has to oblige because he's superior. Say, IPO, go and detain him. There and then, he say, I should detain again. He says, yes. I don't oblige, I follow them to the counter. As usual, they stripped me of my shoe, my watch, my phone, tied them. And send me to the cell.
They sent you to the cell? Okay.
Instantly. I found myself in the midst of some criminals who were detained for some days. Some were even, a little bit ill, and so I have to bear with them. They have to find me a place to sit down. Before one of their leaders came to me, he said, how much did I come with it? I said, as what? He said, money. He said, in the first place, what brought me here? I said, as an inexperienced cell inmate, I have to start from. So he said, well, I came with some money with the counter. And this is what brought me. He said, okay, they were ignorant, they did not understand my
language.
In there. I tried to explain, trying to combine both language of Hausa and English. Before I was able to make them to understand well. It's okay, out of that 4,000, I have to surrender 3 so that they will buy something for my colleagues. I said, no problem. I have no objection.
You have turned to your colleagues.
Yeah. I have no objection. They invited one police officer who keeps their, I think they call it their banker.
Okay.
He has a pocket where he keeps all the money that belongs to him. Came and then they told him that their new mate said, if you surrender 3,000, he told them that it's too much. He left. How can you say 3,000? So they came back to me and said, you didn't put more. But I have said that you should release it. He went and called him again. I don't know what happened at that time. He came, he discussed with them. Left. I sat down in the room. I have to narrow my leg because the space was not enough for all of us.
Okay, like how many people were in the cell?
I think when I did my counting, it was a small cell. There were about 8 to 10 in one small cell, and about 7 to 8 in another one. When they look around, they realize that the other one has carpet. They look at me up and down. They say, okay, the one that has carpet.
As a VIP colleague.
They took me there because I've asked them that they should keep their 3,000. I sat down there. They say, you're welcome. We started chatting. It was time for prayer. So we have to shift for those Muslims because Muslims send me to their prayer. And then they finish. We sit there. It was night time. There was no place to actually lie completely. So you have to lean on the wall with your body, and then the leg is stressed. No, it was not a small experience that somebody can pray for his enemies.
Okay, now, before we come back to you, I'd like to come to Mike Ode Akatu and talking about persecution of journalists in Nigeria. It is not something new. Can you give us a little background on persecution of journalists in Nigeria?
Okay, let me even start within Kaduna here. In the last 4 years, the previous administration, over 15 journalists have been incarcerated. 15 journalists, including bloggers.
Yeah.
They started with Dixon Onjefu in 2015 when El-Rufai came. Then they still picked on him. Then they went after Midat. Then Joseph Midat of leadership. He was even bundled from the NUJ. He was scattered. They laid an ambush for him.
NUJ is the journalist union in Nigeria.
They were waiting. They cannot invade the NUJ premises, so they laid ambush for him. And a car was waiting for him. And immediately he came in, they scattered him and then bundled him and then threw him inside the vehicle and then zoomed off. You understand? That of Onjefu, he was lured. And Onjefu did nothing. The governor of the state, of Kaduna State in northwest Nigeria, went to one place to keep the peace. And he was booed. Some people stoned him. And Onjefu did the story just like this man did a story. And the governor felt offended. So the first thing the governor did was he looked at the name. Jacob, a Christian. Dixon, a Christian. Onjefu is from Benue.
Yeah.
So he called the other people. He said, look, number one, this man is out to antagonize us Muslims in power. They do that to Buhari. They are doing it to us. And now, he's not even from this state. He wants to cause disaffection. You understand? So, and a plan was hatched with some of the journalists who were over there too, some of them, as of that time, were very close to the government. And some of them were even in the government. And Dixon was arrested, taken away. Then left like that. They too rallied around Dixon to get him out. Then Luka Binyat. Luka Binyat, in the first instance, he wrote a story. And when he discovered that the story was not actually what it was, he filed that the story should be returned. So you understand. But the publisher had already published it. And Vanguard, they don't want to retract the story. And he told them, retract the story so that I can give you, but they refused. And El-Rufai now looked at it again. look at Binyat from the south and from southern Kaduna, and it was at the height of the Fulani killings.
Yeah.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Now, one thing with the authorities, especially the Buhari administration, they don't want you to call a spade a spade. They don't want you to see that this is white. And they don't want us to say Fulanis are killing non-Fulanis. They don't want to say there is a Muslim violence on Christians. That is just a plain truth, and I have no apologies. They don't want the majority of the people doing the killings are Muslim Fulanis. Some of them are not even from Nigeria.
Yeah.
But they are actively supported by their brothers. And what they are doing is they are killing these natives. And again, most of the land, the people they are killing, have journalists like us, like Luka Binyat, like Bidat. So we are bound to report these things.
Definitely.
So when you are reporting these things, you become a threat to them. They like to cover it. So, and that is why you see the Buhari administration came up to say these guys are bandits. They are not. You don't even. First of all, they say we should not call them headsmen.
Headsmen. We
should not call them Fulani. Then later they say headsmen. You understand? Then they say don't even call them headsmen, but bandits. They resisted the word terrorist for a very long time. Terrorists only came after Buhari proscribed IPOB.
Yeah.
And then people started asking him, why are you doing that? Now, back to the journalist. If you recall again, apart from that, there is this guy, Onibio, Shegun Onibio.
Yeah.
Shegun Onibio did not even write a report. Shegun Onibio was expressing his thought on the Facebook that Buhari is not doing well. Buhari, all of a sudden, Shegun Onibio was going to Abuja. His phone was tracked, and they called him and said, come down here. Somebody complained to us that you bought a stolen phone. And when they got down to the station, before they escalated the whole thing, and then they locked him up. And he spent close to like 3 months in the prison. The plan was actually to make sure he spent September, October, November, December down, you understand, just to teach him a lesson. Again, the government also went, you were at the forefront, you came to NUJ to inform people that other journalists that Onibio had been arrested. And of course, the government has a kind of divide and rule policy. And I'm going to say it. They give money to certain journalists. A lot of these journalists there are beneficiary of the largesse of the government. Corruptly, I would say. So when you went to that place, you can see the response.
Yeah.
I was the only one that followed you. It was later AIT, and then Isaiah Benjamin came on and started going to the court. The fact is, after you left, some people came around and they said they are from the hometown of Onibio, or his home state in Kogi.
Yeah.
And they came out with a statement that Kogi, Yoruba Association of Kogi or Yoruba journalists are now they are mandating the governor to deal decisively with any journalist from their state that has insulted the president or the governor.
I recall.
These are journalists.
I recall.
Do you see that? And I was severely warned.
But even as you are saying this, there are some aspects that we have not come up to yet.
Yeah.
Because in the course of him doing this story on this Pilgrims Welfare Board, some set of journalists came and said they are the ones that have the exclusive right to write about the Muslim Pilgrims Board.
Yes. That is also to tell you how the cabals operate. You understand? Now, I wouldn't want to hear it is prejudice, but then, since I'm not party to it.
You are not a party to
it. From what I learned, that very agency is steeped in corruption. From what I gathered, here and there. I don't know whoever is the head. But the fact is this. Journalists are always some rogue journalists. These are journalists that you will not see them.
Yes.
They are not registered.
They are not registered.
They are not even...
you cannot even point at their byline on any popular media
They are there because they are loyal to certain big man. And at the end, they get some paycheck. And then they write stories online. And then it flies. And so they will be glorifying They are not only in that place, every other places, and then they be glorifying.
In short, they are public relations persons and not journalists. Even a real public relations person.
Now, Idibia's problem started when he went there. Number one, he's not a Muslim. And those people felt that exclusively the Hajj camp is supposed
Muslim.
Yes. It's supposed, in some of the charges was that incitement to, is it religious? To cause religious,
disharmony.
Yes. Now, why would a journalist did a job passionately, and you say he's trying to cause religious disharmony or something?
Well, all of this, because of time, we may not be able to go too deep into it. But this is to let you know that shortly you will see the video that led to the report that Mr. Idibia wrote. Yes, welcome back. That video clip that you just saw is a one that was sent to him by eyewitnesses and persons affected and led to the report that he wrote. Eventually, he was asked to come back to the court and remanded in prison. Just like that, remanded in prison. And one cannot really put a finger to what crime he has committed, other than he is probably from a faith that they felt shouldn't write about another faith. And sadly too, I met with so many very highly respected Muslims, practitioners, clerics, colleagues, activists, that you are so pained about all of this. I sincerely want to appreciate Abdul Bako Usman. He is a Muslim, former president of the Campaign for Democracy. He was even at the forefront of also pushing hard to ensure that Mr. Idibia was released, and also spoke with several other highly respected clerics that told them that, in short, Mr. Idibia was doing that which is right by bringing to the fore any wrath in anything that's happening, be it Christian, Muslim, pagan, whatever. As a journalist, a professional that he is, he saw something that wasn't right. He wrote about it, published it, and now this is what they are trying to do to him. Well, that's just by the way. Rounding up now, what would be your final take, your final word to those that are watching?
Well, like my colleagues has rightly pointed out, when I was rushed to the court, I was arraigned. The judge took our statements and gave us 30 minutes to. Within 30 minutes, brought the ruling and said that I should go to remanded in prison, and with the option of fine of 2 million as bail condition. Very stringent that it must be current account from bank where stamped on that very day, where it was already almost time.
And that should be around some few minutes to four.
Well, he's been a little bit economical with words before, but I'll have to say it the way it is. When he asked me to come to the court, I went to the court around 3 o'clock or 2:30. And we stayed, and they asked me, because I was asked to come and sign for his bail, so I went with my international passport, thinking that bail is free, some other things like that. And I met the attorney, and she said, yeah, this would do. And then from that 2:3, we waited till 3:55.
Yeah.
3:55. That is 5 minutes to 4. And I was watching. That was when the judge or the magistrate called us, stepped in. Now, it's just 5 more minutes
to official close of business of the court.
Of the fair, yeah. And then that was when he read the conditions that he will be granted bail, each will by 2 sureties, and each of the sureties must have 1 million naira in the account. For me, that's
with the current approximately $1,000 in the account.
Right. For me, as a human being, I felt this was not right. You waited You waited
Till the last
till
minute.
the last minute, and then you
Well,
called.
even if you have those that will meet the condition before they go to court, get the stamp statement and all of that, it can't be done in 5 minutes.
So I was not happy, and he had to sleep in the prison for that long. And of course, the when I went around to start getting people around, I discovered that there are more seated grievances than what it is. A lot of colleagues told me, say, look, this man is done for. Why should he in Christian go and write such reports? Number one. Number two, he had shared, some of them told me he had offended their faith, that he shared an article that insulted their prophet. Now, and I said, but this man really did not author that article, and they were not even taken in by what I was saying. Theirs is this man has to face trial. That the fact that he went to the Hajj camp is even a violation.
A Christian goes to the Hajj camp. Come on.
And also I felt something is fishy somewhere. But well, the case is in court. He was having his day in the court. And then whatsoever it is, I know that the man that really took him to court could have easily opted out, for a settlement, just left it like that. But actually what he did was he had created a whole storm. Eyes will be on him. And even the government will be forced to probe his own ministry to see whether...
You know the funny thing? Until they decided to go after him, many people didn't even know about that story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But that particular act, in fact...
And also you have now created a bigger Gabriel Idibia.
Yes.
To me, whether Idibia goes to prison, the fact is eyes will still be on him. And Idibia has now become the hero. You understand? So that is exactly what the government does not understand by intimidating journalists. By the time you begin to intimidate journalists, then who are the ones to tell your story to the public? And the public are already, they are grievous and they have doubts about you as a government.
All right, we have to go now. But this to tell those that have constituted themselves to only the authority that should write about Hajj. They call themselves the Hajj reporters. I'm not apologetic about it. If indeed you guys are reporters, and if the story that Mr. Idibia did was wrong, the least you could have done was to write the right story and not to join with those that are in the harassing and in the intimidating or persecuting your colleagues to do that. We are journalists. We tell the story the way it is, covering all angles and putting it to the fore without sentiments. And this story had nothing to do with inciting anybody about anything, but rather telling the truth to power. That's about the size of the program today. I want to sincerely appreciate you, Mr. Idibia, and we believe that you'll have your day and
we'll be there by your side.
You have actually not, we cannot say what you have done wrong, but let the court decide. Thank you so very much, Gabriel Idibia. He's a journalist and a reporter here in Kaduna State, Northwest Nigeria. Also to James Mike Ode too. I want to appreciate you for having time to be on the program.
Thank
also.
You,
and I will also appreciate the folks at Truth Nigeria for supporting the program Truth to Power. Until next time, when we are on again, remember to watch out wherever you see persecution of any form. Do let us know. The number is right there on your screen. And of course, you can get to us via our other handles, and we will definitely come speak about it. Persecution is not something that anybody, any community, any group should go through. Until next time, like always, continue to speak truth to power.